If you want me to continue making videos on this topic, please leave comments to boost YouTube algorithms, and subscribe to my channel. So what is Zabbix? Zabbix is software for monitoring network parameters, server health, integrity, virtual machines, applications, services, databases, websites, cloud environments, and much more. Zabbix utilizes a flexible notification mechanism, allowing users to configure email-based alerts for virtually any event, enabling quick response to issues. Zabbix offers excellent reporting and data visualization features based on historical data. It's worth noting that Zabbix is completely free. Regarding hardware requirements, Zabbix requires both physical memory and disk space. Obviously, the required disk space depends on the number of network nodes being monitored. If you plan to store historical data for a long time, you'll need at least several gigabytes for storing historical data in the database. The more RAM you have available, the faster the database, and thus Zabbix works. Now let's move on to installing Zabbix itself. We will install Zabbix on a Linux Ubuntu server, but this tool is supported by many other operating systems. You can view the full list of supported systems on the Zabbix official website. I have deployed Ubuntu Server on VirtualBox and connected to the virtual machine via SSH using the PuTTY utility. So let's go to the official Zabbix page. I'll leave the link in the description and click on the download button. Next, we need to choose the platform on which we will install Zabbix. For me, it will be version 6.4, Ubuntu distribution version 22.04. The components we will install are the server, frontend, and agent. The database will be MySQL, but you can choose PostgreSQL if you prefer, and the web server will be Apache, although you can choose Nginx. Done. Scroll down a bit and you'll see the configuration for installing Zabbix, which depends on what you selected above. So let's go through the steps. Point A, install the Zabbix repository. Simply copy and paste into the terminal. Here it's worth noting that it's preferable to do everything in the terminal as root for convenience. Let's understand what these commands do. These commands perform the following actions. WG. This command uses the Wedit utility to download the file from the specified URL. In this case, it's a package for installing the Zabbix repository, your Ubuntu system. dpkg. This command is needed to install the package. This is a Debian package. So the command adds the Zabbix repository to your system, allowing you to install Zabbix packages via the apt package manager. Apt update. This command updates the list of packages on your system, refreshing information about available packages and their versions from the repositories you added. This allows apt to know about new packages that can be installed, as well as updates to existing packages. Done. Point B. Install Zabbix server, web interface, and agent. Note that installing the agent is not mandatory. It is only installed to monitor the Zabbix server itself. As I want to monitor the Zabbix server, I'm installing the agent, Zabbix server mysql. This package contains the Zabbix server, which collects and processes system monitoring data. It is installed with mysql support as the database, Zabbix frontend PHP. This package contains the Zabbix web interface, allowing users to interact with the Zabbix server through a web browser. Zabbix Apache Conf. This package contains Apache configuration files to set up the web server. To work with Zabbix. Zabbix SQL scripts. This package contains SQL scripts to create the Zabbix database. They are used to configure the database before using Zabbix. Zabbix agent. This package contains the Zabbix agent, which is installed on machines you want to monitor. The agent collects system data and sends it to the Zabbix server for analysis and display. These packages will allow you to install and configure the Zabbix monitoring server on your system. Let's clear the history for better visibility. Point C. The next step is to create a database these commands perform actions in, the MySQL database management system. MySQL uroot p. This command connects you to the MySQL database server using the root user. The p parameter after entering the command will prompt you to enter the root user's password for login. As we can see, we encountered an error, and that's because I don't have an SQL server installed. Therefore, please note that you need to first install an SQL server, and only then you can work with databases. Let's install an SQL server on our machine. Also, I want to mention, for those who are not familiar with Linux, that I am working as root, so I simply write apt-get. If you're working as a regular user, you should prefix apt with sudo. Done. Let's enter the command again, and as we can see, it worked this time. Now, let's just copy all the commands one by one. Create database Zabbix character set of 8 megabytes for collate UF8 megabytes for bin. This command creates a database named Zabbix. It uses the UTF-MB character set and UTF-8 megabytes for bin collation, providing support for the full Unicode. Character set, create, user Zabbix localhost identified by password. This command creates a new user with the name Zabbix in the password. Password. The user is allowed to connect to the database only from the local machine, localhost. You can set any password, just make sure to remember it as you'll need it later. I'll set mine. Grant all privileges on Zabbix to Zabbix localhost. This command grants all privileges to the Zabbix user for the Zabbix database. This includes rights to create, modify, delete, and perform other operations with data in this database. Set global log bin trust function creators 1. This command sets the mysql global system variable log bin trust function creators to 1. This allows users to create functions and procedures in the database that will be used for replication. Quit. This command ends the mysql command line interface session. All these commands set up the database user and grant necessary privileges to work with the Zabbix monitoring server. Next, on the Zabbix server host, we import the initial schema and data. You will be prompted to enter a new password. This command imports the SQL schema for the Zabbix database from the compressed file server.sql.gz into the mysql database. After executing this command, the SQL schema from the server.sql.gz file will be imported into the Zabbix database. This is a necessary step to set up the database before working with the Zabbix monitoring server. The next step is to disable the log bin trust function creators option after importing the database schema. mysql uroot p. This command connects you to the mysql or MariaDB database server using the root user. It requires entering the password after entering the command password. After entering the command mysql uroot p, you need to enter the root user's password to log into the database management system. Set global log bin trust function creator 0. This command sets the mysql global system variable log bin trust function creators to 0. This means that users cannot create functions and procedures without the proper privileges. Quit. This command ends the mysql command line interface session. Setting log bin trust function creators to 0 can be useful for security purposes, as it can prevent execution of incorrect code in mysql. However, it can also lead to permission issues if you try to create functions or procedures in the future. Next, we need to configure the database for the Zabbix server. Edit the file, zabbix-server.conf. I will edit the file using the nano command. Here we need to find the DB password field, uncomment it, and enter the password for the database. Here you can also see the database name and user. To save the changes, press CTRL low, then enter and CTRL 10th. Done. E, we start the Zabbix server and agent processes and also configure them to start during OS boot. These commands perform the following actions. system-idle. Restart Zabbix server, Zabbix agent, Apache. This command restarts the Zabbix server, Zabbix agent, and Apache services. The system-idle restart command is used to restart a service or multiple services by their names. System-idle. Enable Zabbix server, Zabbix agent, Apache. This command sets up auto start for the Zabbix server, Zabbix agent, and Apache services. After executing this command, these services will automatically start during system boot. These commands will help you restart and set up auto start for the Zabbix server, Zabbix agent, and Apache services on your system. After installing Zabbix, let's try to connect. Open a browser and enter the Zabbix/address. We enter the interface where we are prompted to choose the interface language. I choose English. Click Next on this tab. We are shown the readiness status. Everything should be okay everywhere. Click Next on this tab. We are required to configure the connection to the database. Leave everything by default because we didn't change the port. The server is on the same PC, so we leave localhost. Saying here, we only need to enter the password we set when creating the database and click ni xt. If we move on to the next tab, it means the connection to the database was success. UL. Here we only need to enter the server name, time zone, and choose the theme you like. Click Next. Here we see our settings. Click Next again. We see the notification that the installation was succeeds. Click Finish and go to the authorization page. Here in the user field, enter admin with a capital letter, and in the password field, enter Zabbix with a lowercase letter. Click sign in and you will enter the Zabbix web interface. This completes the first lesson on installing Zabbix. If you want to see more of this course, be sure to like, comment, and if this video is successful, I will definitely continue this topic. Thank you for your attention. This was the IT Oracle. Goodbye.